nice guys finish last, and alone. They are the carrion of the social hierarchy, devoured by those who understand the true nature of power, a power rooted not in gentle acquiescence, but in unapologetic self-assertion. Are you tired of being overlooked? Of being the good guy that women friend zone, the employee that gets passed over for promotions, the man whose needs are perpetually trampled upon? I'm going to say something that might sting, that might shatter your carefully constructed worldview. Niceness, as you understand it, is a disease. It's a self-imposed prison, a meticulously crafted cage built of people-pleasing, validation-seeking, and the desperate, suffocating suppression of your true desires. This isn't about being kind or considerate. Those are traits of a well-rounded human being. This is about the insidious nice guy syndrome, the constant apologizing for your very existence, the crippling fear of rejection, the inability to say no, even when your gut screams it, the pathetic yearning for external validation that leaves you perpetually empty and resentful. You've been sold a lie, a carefully packaged deception that equates weakness with virtue. You've been trained to be a sheep, docile and easily controlled, while the wolves feast. But I'm here to offer you a way out, a brutal, unapologetic, and effective path to reclaiming your power. I'm going to reveal the raw, unfiltered truth about becoming a dominant, respected, and desired alpha male. Forget the politically correct nonsense you've been fed. We're going to delve into the primal core of masculinity, the aspects society desperately tries to suppress, the very traits often demonized as toxic. And here's the teaser, the uncomfortable truth that will make some squirm. The path to genuine, lasting power involves embracing those so-called toxic aspects. These are not flaws. They are essential survival tools, honed over millennia of evolution. They are the keys to unlocking your inherent dominance, to commanding respect, to attracting the women you truly desire, and to achieving the life you were meant to live. Are you ready to shed the skin of the nice guy and unleash the beast within? Are you prepared to face the world, not as a supplicant, but as a conqueror? Because the journey ahead is not for the faint of heart. It demands courage, ruthlessness, and a willingness to shatter the illusions that have kept you chained for far too long. Prepare to be reborn. Deconstructing the nice guy myth. Where does this insidious self-sabotage begin? Is it etched into a man's soul from birth? Absolutely not. It's a learned behavior, a carefully constructed prison built brick by painstaking brick. We're going to dismantle it, exposing its rotten foundations. Think of it as demolishing a condemned building to make way for a skyscraper of masculine power. Childhood conditioning, you bet. Picture this, a young boy bursting with energy is told to be nice, share your toys, don't be aggressive. He's praised for being compliant, obedient, and suppressing his natural competitive instincts. He learns that expressing his true desires, his anger, his power is wrong. He's rewarded for being, well, weak. He's essentially being trained to be a beta, a follower, a servant. Then comes societal pressure, a relentless barrage of messages telling men to be sensitive, empathetic, and emotionally vulnerable to a fault. The media glorifies the nice guy, the man who puts everyone else's needs before his own, the man who sacrifices his own well-being on the altar of female approval. This is a trap, a carefully laid snare designed to neuter men and strip them of their inherent power. Why? Because a powerful man is a threat to the established order. A man who knows his worth and asserts his will is uncontrollable. Fear of rejection. This is the core of the nice guy syndrome. This fear is the warden of his self-made prison. He's terrified of disapproval, of conflict, of being seen as bad. So, he contorts himself into a pretzel, desperately trying to please everyone, especially women. He becomes a chameleon, constantly shifting his personality to fit in, to be liked, to be validated. But this validation is a mirage, a fleeting illusion that leaves him feeling emptier than ever. How does this poisonous pattern manifest? Let's paint a picture so vivid, so brutally honest, that it will make you sick. Passive-aggressiveness. He doesn't express his anger directly. Instead, it seeps out in snide remarks, sarcastic comments, and subtle acts of sabotage. He's a simmering volcano of resentment, ready to erupt at any moment. But usually, he just simmers, slowly poisoning himself. Resentment. He feels like he's constantly giving, and getting nothing in return. He builds up a massive debt of unacknowledged favors, and the bitterness eats away at his soul like acid. He believes he deserves something, but he's too afraid to demand it. Lack of boundaries. He's a human doormat. He lets people walk all over him, use him, and disrespect him. He doesn't know how to say no, how to protect his time, his energy, his self. He's afraid of upsetting anyone, so he ends up upsetting himself constantly. Constant apologizing. He apologizes for everything, even things that aren't his fault. He's apologizing for his very existence. He's essentially saying, "I'm sorry for being me." This is a pathetic display of weakness that repels women and invites exploitation. Inability to say no. This stems directly from the lack of boundaries. He's so desperate for approval that he agrees to things he doesn't want to do, putting himself in uncomfortable, even damaging situations. He becomes a slave to the whims of others, seeking external validation. His self-worth is entirely dependent on the opinions of others. He needs their approval to feel good about himself. He's a leaky bucket, constantly needing to be refilled with praise and compliments. This makes him incredibly vulnerable to manipulation. Deep-seated feeling of powerlessness. He feels like he has no control over his own life. He's a victim of circumstance, tossed around by the waves of fate. He's trapped in a cycle of self-pity and inaction. Consider these examples. The friend-zoned man. He pours his heart and soul into a woman, showering her with attention and affection, hopping to win her over with his niceness. He becomes her emotional tampon, her confidant, her friend but never her lover. He's too afraid to make a move, to express his true desires, so he remains trapped in the agonizing limbo of the friend zone, watching her date other men who are not afraid to be assertive. This is a tragedy of his own making. The doormat husband. He bends over backward to please his wife, sacrificing his own needs and desires to keep her happy. He avoids conflict at all costs, allowing her to control him, to dictate his life. He becomes a shadow of his former self, a mere shell of a man. His happiness is a cage built of fear and submission. The overlooked employee. He works hard, puts in extra hours, and consistently delivers results. But he's constantly passed over for promotions. He's too afraid to ask for what he deserves, to stand up for himself, to demand recognition. He watches as less competent, but more assertive, colleagues climb the ladder above him. He's a victim of his own timidity. These men are all trapped in the same vicious cycle. They act nice to get what they want: love, respect, success. But their niceness actually prevents them from getting it. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy of failure and frustration. They are shackled by their own perceived virtue. Robert Glover's "No More Mr. Nice Guy" is a starting point. It identifies the problem, exposes the patterns, and offers some basic solutions. But it's like giving a man a first aid kit when he needs major surgery. It's a necessary first step, but it doesn't go far enough. It doesn't address the deep primal roots of masculinity, the need for dominance, the necessity of controlled aggression. It's a stepping stone, not the destination. We're going to take you far beyond Glover's timid approach. We're going to unleash the beast within, the primal alpha that's been suppressed and denied for far too long. Prepare for a radical and potentially uncomfortable transformation. The journey to true power is not for the faint of heart. The alpha male blueprint. Forget the cartoonish caricature of the chest-thumping brute. We're not talking about some mythical beast. We're talking about you, reclaiming your inherent primal nature. The true alpha male is a man who has integrated his masculine energy, a man who understands his power and wields it with conscious intention. He's not a cartoon. He's a force. First, let's differentiate assertive from aggressive for now. Assertiveness is the calm, unwavering expression of your needs and desires. The steel beneath the velvet glove. It's saying what you mean, meaning what you say, and holding your ground without resorting to unnecessary hostility. Yet, aggression, uncontrolled, is a sign of weakness, a desperate flailing. But controlled aggression, harnessed and directed, that's a weapon we'll discuss later. For now, focus on unwavering assertion. Stand tall, speak clearly, and look people directly in the eye. This isn't about being a bully. It's about projecting an aura of undeniable self-assuredness. Confidence is the bedrock. But this isn't the fake it till you make it kind. Real confidence stems from competence. It's forged in the fires of challenge and self-improvement. What are you good at? What skills can you hone? What fears can you conquer? Every small victory, every challenge overcome, builds upon itself, creating an unshakable core of self-belief. Remember, confidence isn't about thinking you're better than others. It's about knowing you can handle whatever life throws at you. Boundaries are your fortress walls. Nice guys let people walk all over them. They say yes when they mean no. They apologize for things that aren't their fault, and they constantly seek approval. The alpha male sets boundaries, and he enforces them. He understands that his time, energy, and resources are valuable, and he refuses to let others squander them. This doesn't mean being a jerk. It means being respectful of yourself. If someone disrespects your boundaries, you calmly but firmly push back. The first few times might feel uncomfortable, even terrifying, but with each successful defense, your power grows. He relentlessly pursues his goals. This is crucial. A man without a purpose is like a ship without a rudder adrift and at the mercy of the currents. What is your mission? What are you striving to achieve? It could be anything: building a business, mastering a skill, creating art, raising a family, but it must be something that ignites your passion and drives you forward. The alpha male doesn't dabble. He commits. He sets ambitious goals, breaks them down into manageable steps, and attacks them with unwavering focus. He understands that failure is inevitable, but he views it as a learning opportunity, not a reason to quit. He persists. He commands respect. He doesn't demand it, not yet, anyway. Demanding respect is the hallmark of the insecure tyrant. True respect is earned through competence, integrity, and strength of character. It's the natural byproduct of living a life of purpose and power. People are drawn to those who exude genuine authority, those who clearly know what they're doing and where they're going. Think of a respected leader, a skilled surgeon, a seasoned general, a successful entrepreneur. They don't need to shout or threaten. Their actions speak for themselves. The social pecking order is real. Don't kid yourself. Whether it's the corporate ladder, the dating scene, or even a casual gathering of friends, hierarchies exist. Men, by their very nature, are competitive. We constantly assess and rank ourselves relative to others. The alpha male understands this, accepts it, and strategizes to ascend it. This doesn't mean stepping on others. It means outperforming them. It means constantly striving to be the best version of yourself, to become more skilled, more knowledgeable, more valuable. He observes, he learns, he adapts, and he climbs. Internal validation is paramount. The nice guy craves external validation. He needs constant reassurance, praise, and approval to feel good about himself. This is a trap. It makes him dependent on the whims of others, vulnerable to manipulation, and ultimately powerless. The alpha male's validation comes from within. He sets his own standards. He judges himself by his own metrics, and he doesn't give a damn what anyone else thinks. He knows his worth, and he doesn't need anyone else to confirm it. This is the ultimate freedom. Finally, let's introduce frame control. This is everything. The frame is the underlying context, the unspoken assumptions, the power dynamic of any interaction. Who is setting the agenda? Who is leading the conversation? Who is reacting and who is acting? The alpha male always controls the frame. He does this subtly, through body language, vocal tonality, and the careful choice of words. He sets the tone. He defines the rules of engagement, and he subtly steers the interaction in the direction he desires. This is a skill that takes practice, but it's absolutely essential for navigating the social world and achieving your goals. Are you controlling the frame, or is the frame controlling you? Think about it. Master frame control, and you master the interaction. Master the interaction, and you begin to master your life. Embracing your shadow self. This is where things get real. This is where we rip away the facade of political correctness and stare directly into the heart of what it truly means to be a man in a world that constantly tries to neuter you. We're diving headfirst into what society, in its infinite, misguided wisdom, labels toxic masculinity. But I'm here to tell you that's a lie. A damnable lie designed to keep you weak, compliant, and easily controlled. Are you ready to hear the truth? A truth so potent it might shatter your current worldview. The so-called toxic traits: controlled aggression, assertiveness that borders on ruthlessness, the iron will to confront and challenge, even the strategic use of manipulation. These aren't flaws. They're tools. Sharpened, honed, and battle-tested tools forged in the crucible of millennia of male evolution. Are they dangerous? Absolutely. A scalpel in the hands of a child is a weapon. In the hands of a surgeon, it's a lifesaver. The same principle applies here. It's all about control, context, and mastery. Think about a lion. Does a lion apologize for ripping apart a gazelle? Does it weep with empathy for its prey? Of course not. It's a predator. It's designed to dominate, to hunt, to survive. And while we're not lions roaming the savannah, the fundamental principle remains. We, as men, have a primal drive, an inherent instinct for dominance that has been systematically suppressed, shamed, and demonized. This suppression creates what Carl Jung called the shadow self, the repository of all those repressed instincts, desires, and yes, even aggressions. This shadow self isn't some monstrous entity lurking within you. It's the untamed, unbridled part of your masculinity that society has forced you to lock away. It's the part that craves power, that yearns for respect, that refuses to be subjugated. It's the part that understands, on a visceral level, that the world is a competitive arena, and only the strong survive. To become a true alpha, you must access and integrate this shadow self. You must learn to wield its power responsibly, strategically, and with absolute control. Imagine a knife, gleaming, razor sharp. It can be used to carve a beautiful sculpture, to prepare a life-sustaining meal, or to defend yourself against an attacker. But it can also be used to inflict harm, to wound, to destroy. The knife itself is neutral. It's the wielder who determines its purpose. Your so-called toxic traits are the same. Controlled aggression, channeled effectively, becomes unwavering determination. Assertiveness, bordering on ruthlessness, becomes the ability to make difficult decisions, to lead decisively, even when unpopular. The willingness to confront becomes the courage to stand up for what you believe in, to protect those you care about, even in the face of overwhelming opposition. And yes, even strategic manipulation, in the right context, can be a tool for influence, for leadership, for achieving your goals in a world that often plays by its own, often unfair, rules. It's about understanding the game and playing it to win. We're talking about reclaiming your inherent power, reclaiming the primal fire that burns within every man. This isn't about becoming a brute or a bully. It's about becoming a force to be reckoned with, a force for good if you choose, but undeniably a force. It's about understanding the dark, understanding the light, and choosing to wield both with the precision and skill of a master swordsman. Are you ready to embrace the darkness within, to harness its power, and to finally unleash the unstoppable alpha male that lies dormant inside you? Because the world doesn't reward weakness, it rewards strength, and your shadow self is the key to unlocking that strength. Dominance and the social hierarchy. Let's rip away the veil of polite fiction, shall we? Men exist within hierarchies. It's brutal, it's primal, and it's absolutely real. Denying this is like a gazelle denying the existence of lions, utterly suicidal. Men compete. We compete for everything: resources, status, the most desirable mates, the corner office, the respect of our peers, even the attention of our own fathers. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's observable reality, etched in the very fabric of our social interactions. Think about your workplace. Is it a kumbaya circle of equals? Absolutely not. There's the CEO, the managers, the team leaders, the ambitious up-and-comers, and the drones just trying to survive. Each man is constantly, often unconsciously, jockeying for position. Watch the dynamics. Who speaks first in meetings? Who interrupts whom? Whose ideas are given weight and whose are dismissed? Who gets the prime assignments and who gets the scraps? It's a constant, subtle battle for dominance, played out in boardrooms and break rooms alike. Social groups are no different. Observe any group of men, a sports team, a fraternity, a group of friends at a bar. There's always a pecking order. There's the leader, the charismatic figure everyone defers to. There are his lieutenants, the men who support him and enjoy reflected status. And then there are the followers, the ones who crave acceptance and validation from the higher-ups. Even within families, this dynamic exists. Father to son, brother to brother, the struggle for dominance, often unspoken, is always present. The favored son, the rebellious son, the black sheep each occupies a specific position in the familial hierarchy. Now, how do you identify this hierarchy? And more importantly, how do you climb it? It starts with observation. You must become a student of human behavior, a ruthless anthropologist of the male social landscape. Pay attention to body language. The dominant male occupies space. He stands tall, shoulders back, chest out. He makes direct eye contact, unflinching and unwavering. His movements are deliberate, controlled, and purposeful. He doesn't fidget. He doesn't shrink. He doesn't apologize for his presence. He commands attention, even without speaking a word. Vocal tonality is crucial. A deep, resonant voice conveys authority. Practice speaking from your diaphragm, projecting your voice with power and conviction. Listen to how dominant men speak. They are rarely hesitant. They don't use uptalk, ending sentences with a rising inflection, making them sound like questions. And they don't apologize for their opinions. They state their views clearly and confidently. Nonverbal communication is a vast and subtle art. Learn to read micro expressions, the fleeting, almost imperceptible facial movements that betray underlying emotions. Master the art of mirroring, subtly mimicking the body language of the person you're interacting with to build rapport. But only if they are higher status. Mirroring a subordinate signals weakness. Learn to use touch strategically, a firm handshake, a pat on the back only when appropriate, and never from a position of lower status. These are all tools of dominance, subtle weapons in the constant struggle for social positioning. Let's talk about status games. These are the subtle, often unconscious, interactions where men test each other's dominance. It could be a sarcastic comment, a challenging question, a deliberate interruption, or even a seemingly innocent joke. The key is to recognize these games for what they are and to win them. Don't be baited into emotional responses. Maintain your frame, your composure, and your sense of control. Respond with calm confidence, deflect the challenge with humor, or even subtly escalate the game to assert your dominance. Never back down. Never show weakness. This is where the training comes in. And yes, let's touch on game and pick up artistry pure. I'm not advocating you become a manipulative womanizer. However, the underlying principles of pure are incredibly valuable for understanding the dynamics of attraction and influence. Concepts like negging, a backhanded compliment designed to lower a woman's status and make her seek your validation. Frame control, maintaining the dominant perspective in an interaction. And social proof, demonstrating your value through the perception of others, are all powerful tools that can be adapted and applied to any social interaction, not just those with women. The goal isn't to deceive, but to understand the unspoken rules of the game and to master them. The harsh reality: women are attracted to power and status. Understanding this and leveraging it is not immoral. It's strategic. It's playing the game to win. And in this world, winners take all. Losers are forgotten. In short, the social hierarchy is a battlefield. You can choose to be a naive pawn, swept aside by the forces of dominance, or you can become a strategic player, mastering the rules of the game and climbing to the top. The choice is yours, but choose wisely. Your position in the hierarchy will determine your access to resources, your influence, your mating opportunities, and ultimately, your survival. Assertiveness training. Beyond saying no, go far beyond the basics, because this isn't about politely declining requests, is it? This is about proactively imposing your will upon the world, sculpting reality to your desires. Forget the timid suggestions and hesitant refusals. We're talking about forging an aura of undeniable authority, a presence that screams, I am in control. First, let's dissect the pathetic, whimpering no of the nice guy. It's a plea, a question, a desperate attempt to avoid conflict. Your no must be a declaration, an unshakable statement of fact. It must resonate with the primal force of your being, leaving no room for negotiation. Concrete exercises to forge your dominance. 1. The gaze of the apex predator. Direct eye contact is not just about politeness. It's a dominance display. Practice holding unwavering eye contact, even when it becomes uncomfortable. Look at strangers in the eye on the street. Hold your boss's gaze a beat longer than usual. Never be the first to look away. Imagine you are a predator locking eyes with its prey. Feel that power surge through you. Record yourself and watch. Are you blinking excessively? Flinching? Correct it. Practice with friends, family, having them intentionally try to make you break. This isn't starring, it is commanding attention. There is an important difference you must master. 2. The voice of thunder. Your voice is your weapon. A weak, high-pitched voice betrays insecurity. Cultivate a deeper, resonant voice. Practice speaking from your diaphragm, not your throat. Record yourself reading aloud, focusing on projecting your voice with power and clarity. Listen to recordings of powerful speakers, not just what they say, but how they say it. Mimic their cadence, their intonation, their pauses. Experiment with lowering your vocal register. Practice speaking slower. Nice guys rush. Alphas command time. 3. The immovable object. Holding your ground in disagreements is crucial. This isn't about being stubborn. It's about refusing to be steamrolled. When someone challenges you, stand your ground. Do not back down. Do not apologize unless you are genuinely wrong, and even then, do it strategically. Use clear, concise language. State your position firmly and unequivocally. If they interrupt, stop them. I haven't finished. Let me complete my thought. These are your weapons. Practice debating with friends. Choose controversial topics. Your goal isn't to win, but to practice holding your frame, maintaining your composure, and refusing to yield. 4. Controlled confrontation. The crucible of power. This is where you truly test your mettle. Engage in controlled confrontations. Start small. Role play scenarios with a trusted friend. Someone cutting in line, a rude waiter, a disrespectful colleague. Practice responding assertively, not aggressively. Escalate gradually. Join a debating society, a martial arts class, anything that forces you to confront and overcome resistance. Controlled sparring, whether verbal or physical, is essential. It teaches you to manage your fear, control your emotions, and respond effectively under pressure. This is about learning to embrace conflict, not avoid it. Feel the adrenaline, learn to channel it, and use it. 5. Physical presence. Occupying space, commanding respect. Your body language speaks volumes. Slouching, fidgeting, and making yourself small are all signs of submission. Practice standing tall, shoulders back, chest out. Walk with purpose. Occupy space. When you sit, don't cower in the corner. Spread out. Take up your rightful place. Practice walking into a room and immediately commanding attention, not through words, but through your sheer presence. Imagine you are radiating an aura of power and authority. This isn't arrogance. It's confidence embodied. 6. The provider-protector preceded by power. The provider-protector mentality is a noble aspiration, but it's often twisted into a nice guy trap. Providing and protecting before establishing dominance is like offering your throat to a wolf. First, you establish your position as a man of strength, a man to be respected. Then, and only then, do you extend your protection and resources to those who have earned your loyalty. A king does not serve his subjects. His subjects serve him. He provides, yes, but from a position of absolute authority. Remember, resources are a tool of the alpha, not a bribe for affection. The goal of all of this is not just to change your behavior. It's to fundamentally alter your being. It's to cultivate a deep-seated sense of self-worth and unwavering confidence. It's about transforming yourself from a man who seeks approval to a man who commands respect. It's about becoming a force to be reckoned with. The transformation won't be easy. It requires you to embrace a level of assertiveness and even controlled ruthlessness that you never deemed acceptable. The world, my friend, does not care about acceptable. The world bows to power. Ruthless self-discipline, the foundation of power. Forget the coddling, the hand holding, the endless affirmations of your inherent goodness. True alpha status, the kind that radiates power and commands respect, is forged in the crucible of unwavering self-discipline. This isn't about occasionally hitting the gym or skipping dessert. It's about cultivating a steel will and iron discipline that permeates every aspect of your existence. We're talking about a level of self-control that would make a Spartan warrior envious. Physical prowess, more than just muscles, yes. Physical fitness is paramount. But we're not talking about vanity here. We're talking about weaponizing your body. A strong, well-conditioned physique is a billboard advertising your discipline and self-respect. It's a non-verbal declaration of dominance. Think of it like this: the lion with the most impressive mane, the broadest chest, and the sharpest claws doesn't need to roar as loudly. His presence speaks, but it goes far beyond aesthetics. Intense physical training, particularly resistance training, floods your system with testosterone. This isn't just some bro science myth. It's a biological fact. Increased testosterone translates to increased confidence, assertiveness, and a heightened sense of drive. It's the fuel that powers the alpha engine. Furthermore, the very act of pushing your body to its limits, of enduring pain and discomfort, builds mental fortitude. Each grueling workout, each rep completed when your muscles are screaming for mercy, is a victory not just for your body, but for your mind. Consider the Navy SEALs. Their legendary training, Hell Week, isn't primarily about physical skills. It's about forging unbreakable minds. It's about pushing men to the absolute brink of physical and mental exhaustion to weed out those who lack the iron will required to succeed in the most demanding circumstances. You may not be facing enemy fire, but the principles are the same. Conquer your body, and you begin to conquer your mind. Mental toughness, embracing the grindstone the modern world is designed to make you soft. Comfort is the opiate of the masses, but the path to power is paved with discomfort. Mental toughness is the ability to withstand setbacks, to stare fear in the face and laugh, to overcome procrastination and inertia, and to embrace discomfort as a necessary catalyst for growth. Think of resilience as a muscle. The more you stress it, the stronger it becomes. This means actively seeking out challenges. Don't shy away from difficult tasks. Attack them. When you fail, and you will fail, don't wallow in self-pity. Analyze your mistakes, learn from them, and come back stronger. This is the essence of the growth mindset, but taken to a ruthless extreme. Procrastination is the enemy of progress. It's the insidious whisper that tells you to relax, to take it easy, to wait for the right moment. That moment never comes. The alpha male understands that action is the only antidote to procrastination. He doesn't wait for motivation. He creates it through disciplined action. He sets ambitious goals, breaks them down into manageable steps, and then relentlessly executes them day after day, regardless of how he feels. Discomfort is your ally. It's the signal that you're pushing your boundaries, that you're expanding your comfort zone. Embrace the cold shower, the grueling workout, the difficult conversation, the challenging project. These are the things that forge your character and build your mental resilience. They are the grindstone that sharpens your will into a razor-sharp edge. Rejecting femininity. The death of weakness, this is where we enter truly controversial territory. In the modern world, blurring gender lines is celebrated. But for the aspiring alpha male, there are certain traits traditionally associated with femininity that must be ruthlessly eradicated. This isn't about hatting women. It's about recognizing that weakness, in any form, is a liability. Emotional weakness is poison. This doesn't mean suppressing all emotions. It means mastering them. Uncontrolled outbursts, excessive displays of vulnerability, and allowing your feelings to dictate your actions are signs of a weak, undisciplined mind. The alpha male feels emotions, but he is never controlled by them. He maintains a stoic facade, even in the face of adversity. He is the rock, unyielding and unmovable. Excessive empathy, while seemingly virtuous, can be a crippling weakness. Caring too much about what others think, constantly seeking validation, and sacrificing your own needs for the sake of others is a recipe for disaster. The alpha male is compassionate, but he is not a doormat. He understands that his primary responsibility is to himself and his goals. He is willing to make tough decisions, even if they are unpopular, because he knows that leadership often requires sacrificing personal comfort for the greater good, which, ultimately, is his good. Indecisiveness is the hallmark of a weak mind. The alpha male analyzes situations quickly, makes decisive choices, and then commits to them fully. He doesn't second guess himself. He doesn't waver. He doesn't apologize. He understands that action, even imperfect action, is almost always superior to inaction. He embraces the responsibility that comes with making decisions, and he accepts the consequences, whatever they may be. In short, the alpha male ruthlessly purges himself of any trait that could be perceived as weak or feminine. He embraces strength, discipline, and self-reliance. He is a warrior, not a worrier. He is a leader, not a follower. He is the master of his own destiny, forged in the fires of unwavering self-discipline. He is the embodiment of primal power, and the world will yield to him. The art of strategic manipulation. This is where we delve into the truly controversial, the shadow realm of power. Forget the politically correct hand wringing. Manipulation, when wielded skillfully, is simply a tool of influence. It's the scalpel in the surgeon's hand, the precisely calibrated words of a lawyer, the carefully crafted campaign of a politician. An alpha male must understand these dynamics, not to become some cartoon villain, but to navigate the treacherous currents of human interaction and achieve his desired outcomes. Think of it as a chess game. Are you going to play fair when your opponent is playing to win? First, understand that manipulation isn't inherently evil. It's the intent and the context that matter. Are you manipulating to exploit and harm, or to protect yourself and advance your goals? Lawyer uses rhetoric to sway a jury, bending the truth, highlighting certain aspects, and downplaying others. Is he evil? No, he's doing his job. The alpha male's job is to lead, to protect, and to provide, and sometimes that requires strategic communication. We are not advocating for outright lies, but rather a masterful control of perception. Let's talk about framing. This is the bedrock of all influence. It's about controlling the context of a conversation, setting the parameters of the debate. Imagine you're asking for a raise. Don't go in begging. Instead, frame the conversation around your value to the company, the results you've achieved, and the market rate for your skills. You're not asking for a favor. You're negotiating a fair exchange. Similarly, in a relationship, frame yourself as the prize, the one with options. This isn't arrogance. It's conveying value. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, gaslighting. Yes, the term has been weaponized by the overly sensitive, but in a controlled, strategic context, it can be a powerful tool. We're not talking about driving someone insane. We're talking about subtly undermining their certainty, making them question their own perceptions, and ultimately making them more amenable to your suggestions. For example, if someone is being unreasonably aggressive, you might calmly say, "Are you sure you're remembering that correctly?" Recollection is quite different, even if you're subtly twisting the facts. The goal is to de-escalate their aggression and regain control of the situation. You plant a seed of doubt, making them less sure of their footing. Another potent tool is social pressure. Humans are pack animals. We crave belonging and fear ostracism. Use this to your advantage. In a group setting, subtly align yourself with the dominant individuals. Subtly ostracize those who challenge you, and subtly reward those who support you. This isn't about being a bully. It's about understanding group dynamics and using them to your benefit. For example, if you're trying to persuade a group to adopt your idea, find a few key influencers and win them over first. Then, when you present your idea to the larger group, you'll already have built in social proof. The key to all of this is a deep understanding of human psychology. You must become a master observer of human behavior, learning to identify weaknesses, exploit vulnerabilities, and leverage desires. What motivates people? What are their insecurities? What are their hidden agendas? Once you understand these things, you can tailor your communication to achieve maximum impact. Are they driven by ego? Flatter them. Are they insecure? Offer reassurance while subtly reinforcing your own dominance. Are they greedy? Appeal to their self-interest. Consider this chilling example. You're in a negotiation, and you know the other party is desperate to close the deal. You feign disinterest, subtly hinting that you have other, better options. This leverages their fear of loss, making them more likely to concede to your terms. Or imagine a subordinate who consistently challenges your authority. Instead of directly confronting them, which might escalate the situation, you subtly undermine their credibility in front of others, perhaps by questioning their competence or highlighting their mistakes. This is a calculated move to maintain your position in the hierarchy. This is about power, and power is rarely pretty. It's about understanding the unspoken rules of the game and playing them to your advantage. It's about being a strategist, a chess master, always thinking several moves ahead. Remember, the world doesn't reward naivete. It rewards results. And sometimes, achieving those results requires a willingness to embrace the darker arts of influence. The alpha understands this. The nice guy remains oblivious and consequently powerless. Becoming unstoppable, the journey to primal power. Let's be brutally honest. This isn't some weekend workshop where you magically transform into a god among men. This is a lifelong odyssey, a relentless climb up a mountain that has no summit. You're never done. You're always evolving, always sharpening your edge, always pushing further into the realms of absolute dominance. Forget the idea of a finish line. This is a process, a perpetual state of becoming. This transformation, my friend, demands constant, unflinching self-assessment. You must become a ruthless auditor of your own strengths and weaknesses. Where are you faltering? Where are you still clinging to the pathetic remnants of the nice guy? Are you truly controlling frame in your interactions? Are you genuinely projecting an aura of unshakable confidence? Or are you still leaking insecurity like a punctured vessel? You must dissect your every action, every interaction, every thought with the cold precision of a surgeon. No self-deception allowed. Adaptation is key. The world is a fluid battlefield, constantly shifting and changing. The tactics that worked yesterday might be obsolete tomorrow. You must be like water, flowing around obstacles, adapting to new challenges, and relentlessly seeking new advantages. Are you learning new skills? Are you studying the strategies of successful men? Are you analyzing the failures of others to avoid their mistakes? Stagnation is death. The moment you stop learning, you start losing. You must be willing to push your boundaries, constantly and aggressively. Comfort is the enemy of growth. The nice guy seeks comfort. The alpha male embraces discomfort. Are you pushing yourself physically? Are you facing your fears head on? Are you stepping outside of your comfort zone and engaging in situations that make you feel uneasy? Remember, true growth only occurs at the edge of your capabilities, in that exhilarating, terrifying space where you're forced to adapt or be crushed. It's a constant, deliberate act of stepping into the fire. Self-improvement is not optional. It's a mandate. Continuous learning is paramount. Read voraciously, not just about masculinity, but about everything: history, psychology, philosophy, business, even the art of war. Knowledge is power, and the more you know, the more effectively you can navigate the complexities of the world. Physical and mental training are non-negotiable. Your body is a weapon, and you must hone it to peak condition. Hit the gym, train in martial arts, master your physical presence. Mental toughness is equally crucial. Cultivate resilience through meditation, mindfulness, and by deliberately exposing yourself to challenging situations. The mind, like the body, must be forged in fire. And let's talk about your tribe. Surround yourself with strong, like-minded men. Iron sharpens iron. Seek out men who are further along the path than you, men who can mentor you, challenge you, and hold you accountable. Avoid the weak, the negative, the complainers. They are parasites who will drain your energy and drag you down. Your tribe should be a brotherhood of warriors, men who are committed to the same relentless pursuit of self-mastery. These are your allies, your confidants, your support system in this brutal, unforgiving world. The long-term benefits, they are everything you've ever desired. Increased respect. Absolutely. Men will instinctively recognize your power, and women will be drawn to your strength, attracting high-quality partners. Without a doubt, you will no longer be chasing. You will be choosing, achieving your personal and professional goals. Consider them already within your grasp. Your newfound confidence, assertiveness, and strategic thinking will propel you to success in every area of your life. Ultimately, you will be living a life of purpose and power, a life dictated by your own will, not by the whims of others. This is about reclaiming your birthright as a man. The ultimate goal, the pinnacle of this journey, is absolute self-mastery. It's about becoming the complete master of your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and your destiny. It's about achieving a level of control that borders on the superhuman. It's about becoming a force of nature, an unstoppable juggernaut that bends the world to its will. But here's the chilling warning, the brutal truth you must internalize. The world rewards the strong and crushes the weak. There is no middle ground, no room for mediocrity. The nice guy, with his pathetic pleas for validation and his fear of confrontation, is destined for a life of quiet desperation. The world doesn't care about your feelings, your excuses, or your sob stories. It only cares about what you do, what you achieve, and what you take. So, are you going to be the predator or the prey? The choice is yours, and the consequences are eternal. Are you still listening, or are you ready to act? I'm not here to coddle you with sweet nothings. The truth is brutal, and the path to becoming a true alpha male is paved with broken comfort zones and shattered illusions. So, here's your call to action, your first step into the crucible that will forge your new reality. The 7-Day Dominance Challenge. For the next 7 days, you will embark on a mission to systematically dismantle your nice guy programming. This isn't about being a jerk. It's about reclaiming your inherent power. Day 1, the confrontation gauntlet. Identify 3 instances where you would normally yield, appease, or back down. It could be a disagreement with a coworker, a request from a family member that you secretly resent, or even something as simple as letting someone cut in line. Instead of your usual response, you will assertively state your position, hold your ground, and refuse to be manipulated. Document the experience, paying close attention to your internal state, the fear, the resistance, and ultimately, the surge of power that comes from asserting your will. Day 2, the rejection crucible. Approach 3 women you find attractive. It doesn't matter if you get their number. That's not the point yet. The goal is to initiate conversation, maintain confident eye contact, and experience the potential for rejection without crumbling. This is about inoculating yourself against the fear that has held you captive. Analyze your approach. Were you fidgeting? Did your voice waver? What could you improve? Day 3, the territory marking exercise. Today, you focus on your physical presence. In every interaction, consciously expand your posture. Stand taller, occupy more space, and use deliberate, controlled movements. In conversation, speak slower, deeper, and with more resonance. Practice holding your ground, even physically, if someone tries to subtly push or crowd you. This is about projecting an aura of undeniable authority. Day 4, the no barrage. Your mission today is to say no to at least 5 requests, no matter how small. This is about breaking the habit of automatic compliance. Don't offer elaborate explanations or justifications. A simple, firm no is sufficient. Observe the reactions of others. Are they surprised? Do they try to guilt trip you? This is valuable intel. Day 5, the frame control masterclass. In every conversation today, strive to control the frame. This means directing the flow of the interaction, setting the tone, and refusing to be drawn into others' emotional dramas. Practice interrupting politely, but firmly if someone is rambling or trying to dominate the conversation. Introduce topics you want to discuss. See if they can handle your alpha energy. Day 6, the ruthless honesty experiment. For one full day, practice radical honesty. Express your true opinions, even if they are unpopular or controversial. Don't sugarcoat your words or try to please everyone. This is about shedding the mask of the nice guy and embracing your authentic self. Note any discomfort or pushback. This reveals the areas where you still need to strengthen your resolve. Day 7, the cold approach inferno. This is the culmination of your week-long challenge. Go to a public place, a bar, a coffee shop, a park, and approach 5 strangers. Your goal is simply to start a conversation, maintain eye contact, and project confidence. Don't worry about the outcome. Focus on the process. This is about building your social resilience and demonstrating to yourself that you are no longer bound by fear. This challenge is not for the faint of heart. It will be uncomfortable, even painful at times. But that discomfort is the price of transformation. It's the fire that refines steel. If you complete this challenge, you will have taken the first crucial step towards unleashing your primal alpha potential. And if you don't complete it, then you've confirmed what you already suspected. You're content to remain a nice guy, destined to be overlooked, undervalued, and ultimately unfulfilled. The choice is yours. It always has been. The world doesn't care about your feelings, your excuses, or your sob stories. It cares about what you do, the actions you take, the power you project. Become a man of action. Become a man of undeniable presence. Become a man of unwavering power. Become unstoppable. Embrace the toxic, harness the shadow, and rise to your rightful place in the hierarchy. This isn't about being bad. It's about being the absolute best, most powerful, most dominant version of yourself that you can possibly be in a world that ruthlessly rewards strength and relentlessly crushes weakness. Now go.